we have people hop on, that's fine too. All right, you guys. So happy Monday. It is February 25th. That is crazy to me that February is basically over. Almost, not yet. So if you're still pushing for a Success Club, if you're still trying to hit goals this month, you guys, it can still happen. We still have a few days left. So keep on pushing. But today is February 25th, and tonight we have an awesome guest speaker. I'm so excited for Ashley. It's DeWeese. Am I saying that right? Ashley DeWeese? I don't know if I'm saying that right. I hope I am. Okay. She is in a thread that I am in with some other leaders in the company who are like pushing for elite and 5-star and above. So she is amazing. She's a 3-star diamond coach. Her team, I love her team name, you guys. So y'all saw in the graphic, I put FTFP, which means, what does that mean? I'm like blanking out. Go ahead, you tell them.
It's okay, I'll tell them in a
minute. Okay, she's gonna tell them in a few minutes. But I love her team
name. Follow
the
fucking plan.
There you go. Follow the fucking plan is her team name, which I absolutely love. You all know I love like tough love. I think that's amazing. And she is married to the beard. I'm assuming her husband has a beard. She's married. She's a stay-at-home mom of 2. She's a former high school teacher turned stay-at-home mom / working full-time coach. And she's been coaching for 3.5 years. She's a Success Club 10 legend. For 41 months, she has hit Success Club 10. That is incredible. So that means she's helped 5 people for 41 months straight. She is a 2019 Premier coach, so her team hit Premier last year. And then she's part of the Kansas City Market Council. I cannot talk tonight. Kansas City Market Council. So she's in charge or helps put on their Super Saturday events or Super Weekend events out in Kansas City. So if you're near Kansas City, you should go to their Super Weekend. All right, so I'm gonna put it over to her. I'm gonna mute myself. Again, y'all, if you have questions, feel free to drop them below, but I'm gonna turn it over to Ashley so she can get to sharing her story and what her tips are for growing her business.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys. Can you hear me okay? Yes? Yeah? No? Yes? Okay. Thank you so much for having me tonight. I'm super stoked to be able to share with you guys. I absolutely love being able to learn from other people. And so I think it's awesome that you have a coach in Jessie who brings people in for you guys to learn from, because, we all know that, you only hear so much from the same person, and sometimes then you start tuning them out, right? And so my goal with you guys tonight is to share things about this business and how I've built my business. And a lot of the things that I share will be things that you've heard before. Some things maybe not, but I hope that if you can at least find one thing that I share tonight, then maybe you hear it in a different way than you've heard it before, because sometimes it just takes someone else's voice or someone else's perspective to make things click for us. And so I hope that you find at least one thing tonight that you can take away and apply to your business immediately. So a little bit about me and my background and how I got into coaching. I really kind of fell into it. Honestly, I was a high school teacher for 14 years. I've struggled with weight as long as I can remember. I always share that one of the first diets that I went on was one of those soup diets. Does anyone know what I'm talking about? Where you have soup for 5 meals a day for 14 days. So I think it was in the 7th grade, I went on that diet with my mom, and we were going to do it. And I think we got through 3 days and we're like, this is ridiculous. It's funny to think about now, but it's also really saddening to think that weight was something that was on my brain, and my self-esteem was focused on what my physical appearance was from such an early age. And that was something that just traveled with me all of my life. I'm actually an introvert, contrary to what it may seem like tonight. But when I am speaking about things that I'm passionate about, then it's like I'm the most confident person in the world. And so anyway, so that's kind of what my progression was. And I would try things to lose weight, to feel better about myself. And some things worked, some things didn't work. Some things worked, but they weren't sustainable. At the height of my weight, I was 216 pounds, a size 20, extra large, everything. And it was something that, like, I knew what size I was. I knew how that made me feel, but I was almost like in denial of it or numb to it because I didn't know how to fix it. And so, long story short, my weight loss transformation, the biggest part of it actually occurred well before I came into Team Beachbody. And so that happened about 12 years ago. 12 years ago, I had seen some friends of ours who had lost a significant amount of weight, and I was like, oh my gosh, what are you doing? Just like people do in our business. And they had been working with a nutrition company, all natural supplements, all natural eating, but it was like extremely restrictive. I went and worked with that company, and I lost 65 pounds initially. So that was the first time that I actually learned about eating clean and what that looked like. But like I said, it was not something for me that was going to be sustainable because I was not going to be eating chicken and greens for the rest of my life. And so it helped me to lose the weight, but it wasn't sustainable. I wasn't happy while I was doing it. And once I lost the weight, guess what? I still was not happy with the way that I looked or the way that I felt about myself, because all I had done was lost weight. I hadn't done any work as far as taking a look at my relationship with food and what my mindset was. So from that point forward, I mean, it was great that I had lost weight, but like I said, I still didn't have the confidence. I went through a divorce. I lost my father. Like, all kinds of things were in shambles in my life. And so I was just searching for something that made me feel good about myself, while at the same time helped me, finally craft my body to look more like I wanted it to, and to be something that was sustainable. So fast forward to my current marriage. My husband and I, we were always looking for that sustainable plan. And one day I stumbled across a YouTube video for the 21-Day Fix Extreme in February of 2015. This was amidst making decisions about the future of my teaching career. Like I said, I had taught for 14 years. For the 2 final years of my teaching career, I was burnt out. I love young people. I love working with young people, but I just didn't love everything that went along with teaching. And so I had been trying to make decisions about, do I want to move on to something else? But if I move on to something else, like, what would that even be? And I didn't want to start over and, working for other people and just all of those things. So amidst trying to make that decision, I found the 21-Day Fix Extreme. And what really drew me to it was the container system, because we weren't necessarily looking for workouts. We were looking for something that told us what to do. And so we tried it. We did 2 rounds of it, had great results. And I had started a blog called Beauty and the Beard. My husband he does have a beard. And that's what people actually know us as, is Beauty and the Beard. Because I had started this blog just to share about my various health experiments, as well as life as a teacher and all of the entertaining things that occur in my household. And so when I started sharing about the results that we were having with the 21-Day Fix Extreme, people started asking, and then people started going and purchasing it. Now, this is way back in the DVD day, right? We had Beachbody on demand, but that was not like what was the popular thing. So my friends were like going and ordering the DVDs, and my husband, always being the the person that has like the wise words to come in, he was like, are your friends like buying this stuff? And I was like, well, yeah. He goes, well, can't you get paid for that somehow? And I was like, well, I don't know. Well, before that, I had made the decision in April. So we started that in February of 2015. In April, I turned in my resignation, not knowing what I was going to do. It was a leap of faith. I knew that I wasn't happy and I needed to find something else, but I didn't know what I was going to do. So everything just kind of like intersected at the right time for me. So we had great results. People were asking me what I was doing, and then they were going and ordering things because of what I was sharing. And so I started to explore the coach opportunity. I am one of those people who just went to beachbodyondemand.com and signed up to be a coach. I did not enroll through Coach. Here's something I want you to pay attention here about that. Well, I knew a couple of acquaintances at the time who were Beachbody coaches. They didn't appear to be working the business. They appeared to be people who were enrolled as coaches and would like sell people things so that they could earn like they could make a little bit of money off of it, but like they weren't like, there was nothing that said they were building a business. All right. And so when I made the decision that I was going to enroll as a coach, I knew that they were coaches, but they didn't exhibit the traits that I knew that I was looking for regarding my health or a business. And so instead of going through them, I went and signed up on my own. Okay. So that little side note is something to take into account as far as I'm sure you're going to talk to you about being consistent in your business. And I'm going to bring that back again later. But that's something, you know, these were wishy-washy people. These were people that were dabbling, all that kind of stuff. And there weren't people that I looked to that said, yeah, like I want to work with them, or I want them to help me. Or I didn't even think that they could really help me from what I knew of what they were exhibiting. So I did it on my own. The second thing I want to point out at this particular point, and this is not my own horn, but it's for you guys to understand the significance of hitting Success Club consistently and becoming a diamond coach. When you become a diamond coach, you become eligible for coach leads. So when you hit like Success Club 5, you know how you get the customer leads. When you hit Success Club 10, you get the paid customer leads. Well, when you're hitting Success Club 10 and you're a diamond coach, you become eligible to receive coach leads. That means people like me who go to the website and just sign up on their own. All right. So my coach, who my sponsor coach is, she was just like, I'm just a random to her. We didn't know each other. I was just given to her. And so she now has a 3-star diamond premier coach under her that was just given to her by Beachbody. And so while not every lead that you receive is going to turn into a coach that's building the business or someone that wants to be a part of your challenge groups, the possibility is there. So that's another reason that it's so important to be hitting Success Club consistently every single month, because the perks that come with it are just unbelievable. Okay. So anyways, there we go. I'm a coach. I'm also one of those people who did not respond to my coach. She tried to reach out to me and I ignored her. I didn't want to talk to her. She tried to call me. She tried to email me, and I didn't want to talk to her. I'm an introvert. I don't really like people, you guys. But ultimately, my husband, maybe you should just like return her message and see what she has to say. Like perhaps she has some things that she could actually, you know, help you with. And so I had enrolled as a coach on May the 3rd of 2015. And I think I finally responded to her at the end of June. And in the meantime, I was just trying to figure out what to do. I had not been in a challenge group, obviously. I didn't know anything. And so all I did was I put together a Facebook group because I had done some Googling, and I was like, okay, it looks like they run these groups, I guess. And so I grabbed some friends, I put them in this group, and I just posted some motivational stuff, and we checked in every day, and that was that. People could be in there if they just ordered, you know, the DVDs. If they were doing other stuff, they were in that group, and I just figured it out. I knew nothing about like Success Club points. I knew nothing about any of that. Once I figured that out with my assigned coach, I never missed Success Club 10 from that point forward. She told me about Success Club. So that was May. I talked to her in June. In July, I think I hit Success Club 14, still not knowing what any meant. You hear about doing the fundamentals, that's honestly what it takes to be successful in this business. It doesn't take a certain look of a person. It doesn't take certain, qualities. It doesn't take certain technological advances. It doesn't take running ads. Like, of course, there's various things that can help us, you guys. But at the end of the day, the basis of our business is going to come back to what I believe are these top 5 things that I'm going to share with you tonight. So, number 1, being a product of the product, all right? I am someone who takes a lot of integrity in the fact that if I'm going to ask other people to do something, then I need to be walking that walk myself. I'm not going to tell someone, well, here's what you need to do, but yet I'm not doing it. So at the core of this business is you being a product of the product all of the time. That doesn't mean that you are perfection, but it means you're doing programs from start to finish. You're drinking Shakeology every day. You're following your nutrition plan. Sometimes that may mean you're going all in 100%. Every new program that's released, I go all in 100%, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And then there's other times where I'm in what I call flex mode, and I have a couple off-plan meals a week. But I'm program to program. When I finish one, I'm on to the next one. It is a lifestyle for me. And what that does for you guys, when you are a product of the product, it does 2 things. 1, it builds your belief in what it is you're doing. Because if you don't believe in what it is you're doing, that is going to come across in the posts that you make. It's going to come across in the conversations that you have. One of the top things that people struggle with in conversations is like talking about Shakeology, right? Talking about Shakeology, talking about the cost of Shakeology, for example, and so forth. If you are a product of the product and you know what that has done for you, it's so easy to talk about. It's so easy to talk about. So for me, going into conversations, I have like the utmost confidence going into my conversations because no one can take away my experience and my story for what I'm doing on a daily basis and what those programs and products are doing for me. Okay? They might think it's not for them. They can be skeptical about it, but no one can take away your personal experience and your story. If you're not a product of the product consistently, then you are giving them big old holes to like shoot their little bullets through because you're not consistently doing things. And so therefore, you don't go into those conversations being confident. You don't make social media posts feeling confident about what you're saying because you haven't built up your own belief. So if you are someone who struggles, you have a fear of inviting, or maybe you have a fear of sharing certain things on social media, I would ask, are you being a product of the product consistently? And I would venture to say that that's probably not the case. And I would really encourage you to pick a program immediately that you're going to go all in with it, do everything 100%, no matter what, get results, and then continue that process. Okay? Number 2, consistency, authenticity, and vulnerability. I'll say that again. Consistency, authenticity, and vulnerability. I have been consistent from day one. There's not been a day that I have not posted on social media in 3.5 years. And during that 3.5 years, I have gone through family deaths. I have gone through my mother suffering a brain injury in which we thought she was going to die. I've gone through just struggles within normal day-to-day life. Like, life has happened, you guys, but I have not once not shown up. Now, it doesn't mean that we have to be like Superwoman, okay? We don't have to be that. But we also have to show people that you can't just quit when life gets challenging. And that goes for, you know, our challengers and our boot camps. That goes for our business. So I've been consistent every single day showing up. That has built what I call my street cred, because I'm here every day, right? And if you think about in your own life, how many people in your own life have you watched them like hop from thing to thing? And I'm not even talking about just like health stuff, like just with anything. Like, they just hop, like, we even have friends, they just hop friends, right? 1 week they're friends with these people, and 2 weeks later they're friends with these people. And you look at those people and you don't trust them. Being consistent helps you build trust with the people that are following you. And remember, you do not know who all is following you. There are probably way more people paying attention to you than you actually realize are paying attention to you. And they are watching to see if you show up. Because one of the things that I believe, you know, in our society, unfortunately, is a lot of people do lack trust in other humans. Because sometimes other humans suck. They bail, they flake. And a lot of people have bad experiences with that. And so when it comes to our business, you know, health and fitness and wellness, I believe, is one of the most intimate things that a person can reach out and ask for help with. And so they need to know that if you're asking them to let you help them, that you're going to be there, that you're not going to like sign them up, you know, love them and leave them, is like we like to say. You're not going to love them and leave them. You're not going to sign them up and then see ya. Or you're going to be here for 2 days and then you're not going to be here for a week and then you're going to pop back in. Like, they don't need that, because they probably already experienced that in their life in other ways. So we have a responsibility to show up and be consistent. Again, not perfect, but just show up. Authenticity. You've got to be yourself. I love this business for so many reasons. That is definitely one of them. This is not a cookie cutter business, as in every coach is cut from the same mold. Okay? There are people out there that need you to help them. They need to hear your story as you are, not as some, you know, persona that you've created, not as a person who shares some things but then hides all these other aspects of their life. Okay? They want raw, they want real. There's a coach in the network who he likes to say, we've got to meet people in the shit. So that means we have to let them know like some of the shit that we're going through, because that's what people can relate to, you guys. People aren't coming to most of us because we work out and we eat well. Most people don't really give a shit that you work out tomorrow morning. They don't. I mean, they think it's cool, like, hey, look how consistent she is, right? What they give a shit about is what your story is and who you are as a person. And are you someone that they like? Are you someone that they could see themselves like hanging out with? Are they someone that they would want to help them with something so personal? And so people be true to who you are, allow people to actually see that. One of the things that I've done since the beginning of my business, and again, this, I feel like the old grandmother, but when I first started this, and when I started my blog before Beachbody even, there was no Facebook Live, okay? So I was recording video, like every morning I'd finish my workout and I would record a video afterwards, just some like motivational, like whatever I was feeling that day. But I was putting videos out there from the very beginning. And then of course, once live came around, I started doing those. Here's why I love that. Because people can hear you. They can hear the tone of your voice. They can see the expressions on your face. Like, it doesn't take people too long to listen to a video of me to figure out what I'm passionate about, to figure out that I care, but I'm also going to shoot you straight. It doesn't take them long to realize that, like, I have these facial expressions that often I don't really even realize, like, I have RBF really, really bad. But again, they can hear me, they can see me. And it's just different when you hear someone on a video, when you see someone on a video versus just reading things that they write. So having that have been something that I did from the very beginning has helped me, again, develop that credibility with people, because they do know me. And they don't just know my story, like they feel like they know me, even if they haven't been in my physical presence, because I put myself out there via video. Now, I will also say that not everyone is lovely on video. Okay, so we also don't want to make it awkward and painful for everyone. If live video is not your jam, like that could also be damaging to you as well. So what I would encourage you to do is, if you're someone that loves doing live video, then start doing more of those things. If you're someone that maybe struggles with it, take the opportunity. I'm sure you have a team page where you could go live in there at different times. Like, use that as your practice. Another quick tip there is create a Facebook group that's just you and one other person. So like my husband and I, this sounds really shady, but it's not. But we have a private Facebook group, and only he and I are members of that group. But in that group is where sometimes we will do like pre-recorded videos that we upload later or whatever. But that's a great space for you to be able to like test things out without feeling like, everybody and their brother is watching you. But videos, voice messages, you guys, again, you don't have to show them your face, but let them hear you. Let them hear the passion in your voice. Let them hear the excitement in your voice. That's going to resonate so much more with people than just constantly typing out posts or sending messages. And it's also way more efficient for you. Okay, people really take like a voice message and they're like, it's almost like they fangirl, like, oh my gosh, you took the time out to voice message me. It's like, yeah, I did, but it's really a lot faster for me, But either way, like, we're both getting something. It's quick for me, and it means something to them. So I would encourage you to do that, because that will help to show your authentic self. Lastly, be vulnerable. And this is sometimes hard for people. Some people, maybe you have pieces of your story that maybe you're not comfortable with sharing yet. Maybe you have pieces of your story that there are other people involved with, and maybe you're not sure how to share that. You can be vulnerable, but you can control that vulnerability. But people have to be able to get to know you as a human if they're ever going to connect with you. One of the things I mentioned earlier was that my dad passed away. He passed away 12 years ago. That's something that I've always shared about, periodically on my social media. And you could go through all of the members of my tribe, and you would find lots of members of my tribe who have had a parent pass away. And it's always eerie to me, even though I know how this works, that, your vibe attracts your tribe, and the things that you're sharing about is what's connected. Sometimes it's something that we've never spoken about, but somewhere down the line, maybe we have been working with me for 6 months and we're having a conversation, and then it comes out. And it's like, yeah, totally makes sense that has occurred. So be vulnerable about things. I use it as therapy, to be honest with you. It's like coaching is like the freest form of therapy ever, because it allows me to process through maybe hurts and hangups that I have, or struggles that I've gone through or am going through, while at the same time allowing other people to connect with that and say, me too. As far as being vulnerable about things that maybe, you're not sure if you want to share, you don't have to share like all the details, you guys. The goal is to be able to share who you are, allow people to connect with it, allow people to see themselves in you, and then to share how you dealt with that thing, or how you ultimately overcame that thing. So one of the things that I also share about is my divorce. And I craft that part of that story. And I don't mean I craft it as in I lie, but I craft it so that I'm still able to share my feelings, my experiences, my struggle, and the message of that, while still being respectful of my ex-husband. Okay, so I think sometimes people just put the brakes on being vulnerable, and I don't want to talk about my life. There's only going to be so far you can go in this business, you guys, if you don't ever talk about your life outside of coaching. It just is what it is. Because like I said, people really aren't coming to you because of what it is you have to offer via, you know, the programs and products. Yes, they're amazing. We know that, and that's going to help them. But ultimately, they're choosing you most likely because of who you are. And so you have to be able to get vulnerable in that, to share that with them, because then it's going to be like, oh, hey, that girl, she gets me. Her story is similar to mine. She's going to understand this struggle that I have. Oh, by the way, it's 3 months from now. I'm having some trouble with my, you know, my self-esteem or my weight. And you know what? I want that girl to help me because she gets me. And again, like, there are people out there who need you. They don't want me to coach them. They don't want Jesse to coach them. They don't want other people on their team to coach them. They're waiting for you. And so that's something else that I want you to put on your brain whenever you're feeling fear in this business. There's somebody out there waiting for you to step up and get over your fear so they can get the help that they need. They're waiting on you. Even though there's all these other people that could help them right now, they're waiting on you. And that's pretty powerful in my opinion. So get comfortable with being vulnerable, because that is when you are going to see doors in your business open up. Number 3, decision and urgency. Make decisions about your business, you guys. Too often people hang out like 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Make a decision and then make decisions non-negotiable. One of the first decisions that I made in my coaching business was that I was going to do it for a year no matter what. I took quitting off the table. When you take quitting off the table, you empower yourself to like persevere and push through anything. But if it's still on the table, then you're always carrying around this like thing on your shoulder where it's like, well, I mean, I'm trying, but like if it doesn't work, you know, I don't have to do this or whatever. When you take it off the table, like there's no option. There's no chicken exit. Like you have to do this. And that's been the mindset that I've had since the beginning is we're going to do this for a year. We're going to reevaluate at the end of that year and see where we're at. And here we are. Okay, so take quitting off the table and give yourself that extra power boost to actually take on your business. The same thing goes with your goals each and every month. You should be making a decision about a non-negotiable goal that you have each and every month. One of those goals should be hitting Success Club 5 at a minimum. 3 people, no matter what. Not I'll try, not we'll see what happens, not I hope to, but 3 people, no matter what. Because here's a bottom line, you guys, and this has nothing to do with what type of coach that you are. Obviously, there's a huge continuum. Some people, they just want to get their products paid for. They like helping people, want to get their products paid for. Some people want to be part-time. Some people want to be full-time. Some people want to be like, you know, take this as far as they can go with it. Cool. It doesn't matter where you are. 3 people has to be the bottom line. Because you're not going to cover your products if you don't help 3 people. And it should be non-negotiable. And I think sometimes people are like, well, I don't completely have control over whether or not people say yes to me, so how can I say that it's non-negotiable? Well, here's the thing. To me, non-negotiable means that until I've hit that goal that I've set for myself, like I keep working. And I keep racking my brain and getting creative, and I keep digging, and I keep Googling that shit to figure out like what I need to do to hit that goal until the deadline has passed. And if the deadline passes, but you know that you've done everything you could have possibly done, then you can't fault yourself with that. All you can do is learn from it, take what worked, take what didn't work, and move forward from there. But it really sucks to miss a goal and know that you didn't do everything that you could have done. Let me give you a couple examples of that, okay? So that you don't think I'm just like spouting off, like do this, do that. So one example was fairly early on in my business, once I had made Success Club 10 my non-negotiable goal. Like that was that. And back in the day in the business, I always waited till the end of the month to hit Success Club. Don't do that. Like it's the dumbest thing in the world that you can do. You stress yourself out. You'll hate life. and we want this coaching business to be joyful. So don't do that to yourself. But I used to do that. And literally I was like Success Club 0 on the last day of the month. It was like 2 years ago. So started racking my brain, going through people, turning up the heat, you know, picked up a person here, picked up a person there, la, la, la. Finally, I needed one more person. Okay, one more person. And this was, I think it was about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And a friend of mine who was already a part of my tribe, her mother-in-law was interested in getting started with us. I'd never met the mother-in-law, hadn't really even known my friend like for that long. She was a church friend and we'd just been kind of getting acquainted. Anyways, her mother-in-law wanted to do this. So I started exchanging messages. And, you know, when you really want people to just be sitting at their computer until you like start the process and let's finish it right here in this sweet little 10-minute spot. That's like never how it goes down. So she was like at her nephew's soccer game, and then she was home to chat with me for a little bit. So long story short, like I keep going back and forth with her. We get to the point where we're ready to sign up. I've got like 2 hours left. She can't remember the password to her email. Like at all. So I end up offering to set up a Gmail account for her. And she's like, oh, that'd be so nice of you. So I set up the Gmail account for her, and then we get everything set up. And then what was the next thing? Oh, she couldn't get her credit card entered right or something, and she was at dinner. And this was like at 8:30 in the evening. And I'm like, okay, clock's ticking, and I had no other option. Like at that point, like no one was returning messages. Like this was it. Ultimately, she gave me her credit card number. This woman did not even know me, but I was like, oh my gosh, I'm like, I would love to just take care of this for you. Maybe there's just something if you wouldn't mind like giving me your credit card number, I can totally set this up for you and we'll get it taken care of. She luckily gave me her credit card number. We got it submitted at like whatever our deadline is. I had like 5 minutes to spare. But again, it would have been very easy to just wash my hands of it and be like, this is too much work. I'm never going to hit it. No big deal. But it was non-negotiable. The most recent example of that was achieving Premier in December. We went into December 31st still needing 9 points. If you know anything about elite points and achieving elite or Premier, we had all of our other requirements for Premier because elite was off the table at that point, but we still needed 9 points. And they were 9 points that felt like they were completely out of my control, because the quickest way for us to get 9 points were for some of my coaches to hit Success Club. And unfortunately, my coaches had really been struggling for a few months in hitting Success Club. But that morning, I was racking my brain. What else could I do? What else could I do? And I remembered another coach call that I had been on. And someone said, you don't leave things in the hands of other people. You don't leave your goals in the hands of other people. And I remembered that day. And I went to my husband and I threw out some ideas to him. And he was like, you need to pull the trigger on this and go to work and figure out what you need to do and get it done. So literally on New Year's Eve, I was on my computer. I was working with coaches who had people who were kind of iffy, la, 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 la. We did enroll our last person at like the very last moments. Again, you don't give up. If that's your goal, it's non-negotiable. You should have like this feeling inside of you that it's like a sinking feeling. Like, I don't want to miss this goal. And it's not really about just the goal, you guys, because you're going to achieve goals in this business, whether it's Success Club, rank advancements, etc. And then of course, like, you know, that's not the end of things, like you're moving forward. But what that teaches you is what you're actually capable of. It also teaches you to be resourceful, because sometimes when we think we've like exhausted all efforts, we haven't. We just have to push ourselves to do that. And so that also goes into this other part of it is Googling things. You guys, I Google things all the time. Another great thing about coaching is everybody shares in this network, right? So sometimes maybe you
at times think, well, you know, if I were on so-and-so's team, like they've got like all this stuff, or they get to have all these great speakers or resources and whatnot. You guys, you can be on everybody's team. Go to YouTube and watch people's team calls. Like if you want to have a team, if you want to listen to certain speakers, go find someone who's had them on their team. Like, you don't have to physically be on other people's teams. Like, it's all up to you anyway. But anything you want to know how to do in this business, like, you can go find whatever you need to find. So those are other things. You know, early on in my business, it was, you know, final days of the month. I wasn't at Success Club. So guess what I was Googling? How to hit Success Club in 24 hours. How to hit Success Club. You know, and you go skim those things and you look at it. It just depends how bad do you want it, and you better have that why plastered right on your forehead or burned into your retinas each and every day, because helping people does not make me want to roll out of bed in the morning when I'm dead ass tired, when it's snowy outside and dreary, or to go send invites. I want to help people, but I don't want to help people that much, okay? But what I do want is to retire my husband from his job so that he can be with us every single day. What I do want is to be able to go shopping and see something that I'm like, oh my gosh, you know what? My friend so-and-so would really love that. And I can pick that up and I can go buy it, and I can never look at a price tag, and I can never have to ask myself whether or not that fits into my family's budget as to whether or not this gift that I just want to pick up because I'm being thoughtful and it made me think of someone and get for them. But currently I have to put it back if it doesn't fit into our budget. I don't want that. And so those are the things that I have to remind myself, is when I slow down, when I quit, when I don't want to do the things, then I am prolonging those things that I really do want. And I don't want to prolong those things. So I do what needs to be done. Okay? And it's not always easy, and it's not always fun, but it's totally worth it. And I absolutely hate that phrase. It's totally worth it. But I mean, it's true. Okay? All right. Number 4. Stay plugged in and seize opportunities put in front of you. Team calls are really easy to attend. They're just as easy not to attend. Super weekends, easy to attend. They're just as easy not to attend. But when you stay connected, you are creating those relationships, you guys. You can run this business by yourself if you want. You can be on an island, but it's going to be shitty. It's not going to be fun. You're going to feel alone. And we already have like that element of kind of being a little bit alone because, you know, a lot of it's online. So we are at home working technically by ourselves at times. So don't make it worse by like not showing up to these things. This is your business. And if you invested $500,000 in a business, you probably be, what else can I show up for? Like, what else can I do, right? But because you didn't invest that kind of money, it's so easy to just like not. And really, sometimes I think we just don't even see the investment because we're consuming it, right? Like, I'm drinking my shake every day for my own health. So like, I'm not even thinking that I have money invested in a business. But this is a business meeting. Now, granted, there is life and you've got to prioritize, and you know, it doesn't necessarily mean that you should be sacrificing like all of your family time. Again, I have a 6 and a 7-year-old. Family time is really, really important to me. So, you know, you don't also want to create something to where it's business, 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 and you're neglecting the very things that you're saying you're wanting to do this business for. But it takes sacrifice, and there's no such thing as complete balance. At every season, there's going to be something that's getting a little bit more of you. Sometimes it's going to be your business. Sometimes there might be other things that need to go into play. You know, this summer, at the end of July, I had some very dear friends who were basically my second parents who were killed in a car accident. And 2 days later, my mom fell, cracked her head on a cement garage floor, and ended up having to have brain surgery. It was a trying time, and it was at the end of the month, and I had a return, and I thought I had Success Club, and I didn't. You know, you see what I'm saying? And so at that point, like, I had to, like, you know, it flipped a little bit. So we went out there to help with the funeral, and I had everything secured in my business. So like, my family was getting more of my time. And we dealt with those things, and then we came home and I had a return and what I thought wasn't. And so I had to go to work, and there the focus was there. So it's setting those boundaries, and it's understanding that for the first few years of this business, you are going to have to make some sacrifices for the business so that later in this business, you do have more flexibility. You do have more opportunities open to you because you've sacrificed some things now. It's a business. If you want to be paid like a business, treat it like a business. Seize opportunities, whether that's push groups, whether that's guest speakers on team calls, whether that's going to things like Summit that you don't know how you're going to pay for, but everybody's like, you got to get to Summit because this is like a game changer, and you just need to go and figure it out. Okay? If people ask you to serve on committees and whatnot, evaluate. I'm not just saying be a yes person, but I'm saying evaluate, is this something that's going to serve me in my business? For example, the market council. The market council is not a paid position. I get paid to be on the market council, right? But here's how that went down. My upline, so not my sponsor, but my sponsor's sponsor, who is essentially my sponsor, I earned her elite guest pass at Summit 2 years ago. And so because I earned that pass, I got to go to the elite parties with her. At one of the elite parties, which I did not want to really go to, you guys, because I'm an introvert and I don't like to go and like chit chat with people. It's not my thing. But I knew that I needed to go to that party because I knew leaders of the business would be there. And it would put me in the same room with those people just to be able to interact with them and to network and get to know people. Because again, just by networking with people, you guys, I mean, that's why I'm speaking on your team call. That's why Jesse's going to speak on my team call. Like, we didn't know each other before this, but we were in a group, a leadership group. And so now our teams get to benefit from our knowledge and our experiences because of that. So I went to that elite party. Well, while at that elite party, we were talking to some other coaches. One of them was from Kansas City. She was in charge of the Kansas City Market Council, and she learned I was from this area, and she was like, hey, we are filling a spot. Would you be interested? And I said, I'll consider it. And she was a little taken aback that I actually said, I'll consider it, instead of just like, oh my gosh, yes. But I came home and I talked to my husband, and we said, okay, like, why would you do this? And we were like, well, it's another leadership position. It's something, again, to put in my credentials. 2, I knew that to get a foot in the door with corporate, meaning I would have a better connection to be able to message my regional and say, can I have a meeting with you that we can talk business? And because I would have never done that before. You can't, by the way. Saturdays at the time, like, they bring in trainers, they bring in other speakers. So, hey, if I'm on the council, then I'm going to get to meet those people. So I seize those opportunities, and those things, without a doubt, have contributed to my confidence in my business and have opened up other doors for me. The same thing with like push groups, you guys. If you're offered push groups, and sometimes you might think like, hey, like, I don't even know if like I want to devote this much time, because we're all at different places in our business. Whatever the hesitation is, even if you go into a push group, you guys, and you don't like go full force with it, you are still able to absorb information. You're still maybe able to learn some new things that would be helpful. But when you just say no to things, you're putting yourself at a disadvantage because there's other people that are saying yes, and they're gaining insight that you're not. So stay plugged in and seize opportunities. Number 5, provide value. Of course, but provide value to not just your new people, but also your veterans, as we like to call them. And it is a little bit of a slippery slope, but it is important to make sure that you are providing value. And value can come in lots of different ways. Like, sometimes I think people get caught up that you have to have like these mind-blowing things that you are sharing in a post or that you're offering up to people, when in reality, you can be providing value to people simply by letting them know that you care about them. You can be providing value to people by, giving them something that's going to make them laugh in a post. Like, that's valuable. Like, there's all sorts of ways to provide value, but provide value to everyone. Now, network marketing, it's a numbers game, okay? It's a numbers game. You always have to have new people coming in, you guys. And that can hold people up too, because they get like a certain crew in, and then you kind of fixate on that and you stop expanding and looking for new blood. And that will be the death of you in this business. Okay, so you always have to be bringing in new people, because the people that got you here are not the people that are going to get you there, unfortunately. And that really sucks. And if you're anything like me, sometimes take it personally, and you gotta knock that shit off because you can't take it personal. And I think that comes from, I know for me, it comes more of like that part of me that, you know, again, we all are still working on like mindset and limiting beliefs and all these things. But, you know, everybody likes people to like them. Everybody wants to have friends. And so in this business, we tend to become friends with the people that we're working with in this business. And so then when those people who seemed like they were, you know, moving forward with you, then like aren't moving forward with you, it kind of sucks. But at the end of the day, that's just the reality of it. You've got to keep moving forward. So provide value to new people who are coming into you. But don't forget your current people. About Sprint, the film coming out, I was where you're at. But Sprint likes to like wine and dine everybody to like become a customer, and then like to just like crap on everybody that's been loyal customers to them forever. And so you want to make sure that while you are spending 85% of your time growing your business and bringing in new people, that you are actually still providing value to the people that are staying with you. And that's not going to be everyone, but you are going to have like, I don't know what the percentage they say is, like 20% of people that you bring in actually are going to stay. So stay with them. Like those people that are in your challenge groups month after month that continue to, you retain on Shakeology orders or whatever, and they show up and they contribute and they do things, and maybe they don't want to do anything more than just do their health journey and drink Shakeology. You need those people. So you need to make sure that you're still providing value to them. So if like you do the same thing over and over in your challenge groups, like, you know, that's something after a while, it's like, hey, like, what are you doing to like sweeten up the people that are continuing to stick with you and not just enticing those new people that are coming to you. The last thing that I'll say to you guys, and I guess I forgot to share this at the very beginning. My team name is the FTFP crew. It does stand for follow the effing plan. You don't have to use the curse word. Follow the fabulous plan, follow the effing plan, the freaking plan, like whatever you want to use. But where that came from is towards the beginning of my business. Like I said, I'm a very like straightforward, like when it comes to my health journey, like I don't want it to take 10 years for me to lose 50 pounds. Okay. Like that's ridiculous. If I can lose 50 pounds in 6 months or a year, why would I take 10 years to do that? So that's kind of how I run my ship with my challengers. And I had people who were like, they're so frustrated that they weren't seeing the results that they wanted and all these things. And my husband and I were out one Friday night, we were having a couple of drinks, and I was like, I don't get it. If they just follow the effing plan, they'd see results. And he was like, FTFP. And so we started laughing about it. But then we sat back and we were like, okay, but seriously, it's the truth, right? And so that's an acronym for our business. In our challenge groups and our boot camps, it's called, you know, they check in every night. One of the things they check in with, did you FTFP your nutrition? Did you follow the effing plan? Because sometimes, you guys, it is that simple. When people say follow the vital behaviors, which I used to roll my eyes at that too, like, okay, but really, like, I get it, like follow vital behaviors, but really, like, what else? And again, there are like other things that can enhance your business. But if you're not doing the fundamentals, if you're not following the effing plan that our network has set out to be the core things to move your business forward, all of that other stuff does not matter. It doesn't matter what the banner on your profile page is. It doesn't matter like what outfits you're wearing. It doesn't matter who your upline is. It doesn't matter what I teach you about Instagram stories or what invite to use. None of that stuff matters. Like the things don't matter. Like I said, I'm not fancy. The fanciest thing I currently have is I just got my big old ring light, but I just got that like 3 months ago. Okay. So I really feel like I've had decent success in this business to this point without being fancy. I just followed the effing plan that was laid out for me from the beginning. And then I've adapted that plan as I learn more, because when you know better, you do better. So there it is, you guys. what I got for you.
That was amazing. I was getting messages the entire time like, this girl's amazing. This girl's on fire. So first of all, thank you, Ashley. Like, I am pumped. Now I want to go help all the people. I don't know about anybody else, but like I am pumped up. Does anyone have any questions? I know a lot of that was probably stuff that I have said, but hopefully it clicked. Maybe she said it in a different way. Oh, kiddos. Maybe she said it in a different way that, you know, may have clicked for you guys. But if you'll have questions, please feel free to unmute yourselves or ask in the chat. Does anyone have questions for Ashley? Are y'all all ready to go help all the people and do the effing plan, right? Go follow the effing plan. All right. Well, if y'all have questions, you know, later down the road, or if y'all are listening to whoever's just listening to the recording and y'all have questions for Ashley, message me and I can forward them over to her. But thank you so much, Ashley. Really appreciate your call. It was amazing.
Thank you for having me very much.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for getting on. Happy Monday. Hope you have a great night, and we'll see y'all next week. Bye, guys. Go help all the people. Go follow the effing plan. Get it done.